This is my world famous White Castle stuffing. Ingredients are 1 large onion, half head of celery, 1 pound of brown mushrooms, a full bag of cheddar cheese, 1 cup of chicken stock, nutmeg, paprika, and sage, 28 original sliders, no pickle, no onion. Step 1, heat up a half a stick of butter. While that's heating up, you got to break down 28 sliders. The key to making this a good is to make sure that you cook these long enough. Do not rush this step. This will make all the difference if you make sure that these are nice and brown and still a little crispy. All right, once the celery and onions get to a nice texture, we put the mushrooms in. And I'm telling you, you don't want to put the mushrooms in too early. The mushrooms also, they give a lot of water. So you want to make sure that you can cook off that water. Get them nice and brown. Always looks like a lot, but it cooks down real quick. This is the White Castle's graveyard right here. That's what happens when they all go to die. Like, imagine if you ate all these. Like, you just wake up the next day and you see like a pile of these and you're just like, man, this is disturbing. It's like it's like a college day when I got hammered and you're just like, oh my God. Like, you're like, wait a second. Like, it's like when you wake up, you're like, I don't know where I was. You're like, who was over last night? You realize you're the only one. And you ate all those castles. You're like, oh my God. You know why they call them sliders? Just slide right out. I'm gonna add the sage, paprika, nutmeg, and then I put the salt and pepper in this little batch here too. It's usually, I do it to taste, so I started here. And then you're gonna pretty much kind of let this cook until it's very, like, you can kind of smell it. And you can kind of tell when it's done once the fragrances kind of like really hit you in the face. But you want to make sure that the spices are fully cooked in before you take this off. All right, so then we're going to take this off and you're going to pour it right into the bowl that's got the burgers, or should we call them the sliders. Put it right on top. And the heat of this is actually going to cook these bad boys down a little bit. And then you just mix this up really good. So my next step, guys, is I'm going to pour this into that baking dish. Now, trick. Hot chicken stock. Now the bread will make it dry, so you need to kind of make sure that, I mean, everybody loves breadcrumbs and stuff like that, but it does dry it out a little bit. So the hot chicken stock will break this down and make the dish a little bit more moist. So you just drizzle it over the top like that. And then you want to kind of break it down a little bit more again and kind of mix it in. Spread around all the extra liquid that you just poured in there. Then pour the cheddar cheese on top. Then just like this. Pop in the oven at 350 for 20 minutes, and it's done. And this is the world famous White Castle stuffing. Gotta take a bite. Oh, it's gonna be hot. Best part about this is it gives you that classic White Castle flavor with a traditional Thanksgiving taste, because you get that celery and paprika, nutmeg, and it just really kind of ties it all together. And I'll tell you, after a couple glasses of wine, nothing's gonna taste better this Thanksgiving.